Hello everybody, I hope you're having an amazing day. I am Workbreak MMA, and today I will be predicting the final UFC card of the year, UFC Fight Night Royval versus Kape, coming from the UFC Apex, where two very exciting flyweights in the main event will be looking to get a step closer to a title shot, as well as a 28-1 Bellator champion debuting on the prelims, and also, in my mind, one of the best prospects in all of MMA fighting in the co-main event, with three heavyweight fights on the card as well, and a lot more close fights to predict. Last week on UFC 323, I had an almost perfect card, nailing it and going 12-1-1, only missing on a tie and Merab Dvalishvili's huge upset loss to an amazing performance from Petr Yan. This is the only fight card for the next 6 weeks, so let's get right into it. Opening up the card at women's 125 pounds, we have Jamie Lynn Horth. She is 8-2, 3 KOs, 2 subs, and 3 decision wins. She is 35 years old, 5'7", with 66 inches of reach, coming from British Columbia, Canada. She is my 17th ranked women's flyweight. She will be facing Teresa Bleda. She is 7-1, 2 KOs, 2 subs, and 3 decision wins. She is 24 years old, 5'9", 71 inches of reach, coming from Prague, Czech Republic. She is my 27th ranked women's flyweight in the UFC. Horth is a solid pressure-based boxer with a good clinch game and okay in the wrestling as well. And Bleda is a good kickboxer with a solid judo/wrestling game, solid takedowns, and some solid submissions as well that she can get from any position on the ground. She is also massive for this weight class as well. I think Bleda is a good prospect at flyweight, and I think that she can out-kickbox and outbox Horth at range for a large portion of this fight, where I believe Bleda will outdamage her to a dominant decision win. Now at heavyweight, we have Alan Fry. He is 6-0 with 6 knockouts. He is 27 years old, 6'4", with 75 inches of reach, coming from Wilmington, North Carolina. He is making his debut in the UFC, and he will be facing another debuting fighter in Guilherme Pet. He is 5-0, 4 KOs, 1 decision win. He is 6'5", with 80 inches of reach, coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Both fighters don't have a lot of tape out on them, and Pat's official age is still not listed and is listed as unknown in all of his fights so far throughout his career. I think Fry is going to be the smaller fighter in this fight, and he's going to be a little bit slower as well. Pat is going to have some good speed and good power on the feet, and I think he can outbox him at range, even teep him in the body, and maybe even kick him as well throughout this fight, to the leg, to the head, and getting a TKO finish in round 1 or 2. Now, two prospects at a women's 135 pounds. We have Luana Santos. She is 9-2 with 1 KO, 5 subs, and 3 decision wins. She is 25 years old, 5'6", with 67 inches of reach, coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil. She is my 14th ranked women's bantamweight. She will be facing Melissa Croden. She is 7-2, 6 KOs, and 1 submission win. She is 34 years old, 5'9", with 68.5 inches of reach, coming from Alberta, Canada. She is my 18th ranked women's bantamweight in the UFC. Croden is a solid wrestler with okay power and some decent stand-up as well. She has some good takedowns with some good ground and pound, but struggles later in the fight, and especially whenever she gets put on her back. Luana Santos is a good kickboxer with a great judo game where she can out-control fighters well and submit them from the top or the bottom. I think Santos has more weapons both on the feet with her kicks and on the ground with her BJJ skills. I think she can find a way to counter Croden's wrestling by either reversing her takedowns or scrambles in the position to get on top and manage to get a submission win in round 2. Now, coming up at heavyweight, we have Sean Sharroff. He is 4-1, 4 KOs. He is 32 years old, 6'3", with 77 inches of reach, coming from Anaheim, California. He is my 33rd ranked heavyweight in the UFC. He will be facing Steve Asplund. He is debuting after a 16-second knockout on the Dana White Contender Series. He is 6-1, 5 KOs, 1 decision win. He is 27 years old, 6'5", with 78 inches of reach, coming from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sean Sharroff had about the worst debut that you could have had in the UFC. He has a wrestling base with okay stand up with the boxing and some good power as well, some decent takedowns, but he gassed out in 3 minutes and lost to Junior Taffa, where Asplund is a lengthy boxer with good power and speed as well, and some solid wrestling where he can find ways to get up after being taken down. If Sharaf hasn't made any improvement since his last fight, he could be one of the worst fighters in recent UFC history. I think Asplund can defend the takedowns and stay out of danger in the boxing while stinging up Sharaf on the feet. Give me Steve Asplund to win this fight by knockout in round 1. Now at 170 pounds, we have a UFC vet versus one of Bellator's all-time best. First, we have Neil Magny. He is 31-13, 9 KOs, 5 submission wins, and 17 decision wins. He is 38 years old, 6'3", with 80 inches of reach, coming from Illinois, USA. He is my 25th ranked welterweight in the UFC, and he will be facing former Bellator champion Yaroslav Amosov. He is 28-1, 9 KOs, 11 submission wins, and 8 decision wins as well. He is 32 years old, 5'11", with 75 inches of reach, coming from Kiev, Ukraine. He is making his UFC debut. Magny has fought the most times out of anyone ever at 170 pounds in a UFC. He has fought everyone and has a very lengthy, pressure-based boxing game with some good kicks. He is best in the clinch, where he works his long legs to trip you up and take you down and control you and tire you out after a while, eventually working a submission or ground and pound finish. And Amosov is a former Bellator welterweight champion, going 8-1 in the promotion with really good wrestling and overall a very good ground game. He has solid boxing and some solid kicks as well, with some really good cardio. Magny has a clear way to beat him every fight. You have to damage his lead leg early in the fight, kick his lead leg, and he'll struggle, and he'll be easier to take down. He'll be slower on the feet to hit. And I think Amosov can kick his leg early in the fight, damage his leg, take him down, and eventually get one of his signature anaconda choke submissions in the second round. Now, a very exciting fight at 145 pounds. We have Joe Anderson Brito. He is 17-5-1, 7 KOs, 8 submission wins, and 2 decision wins as well. He is 30 years old, 5'8", with 72 inches of reach, coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He is my 27th ranked featherweight in the UFC. He will be facing Melzik Bagdasaryan. He is 8-3, 5 KOs, and 3 decision wins. He is 33 years old, 5'9", with 70 inches of reach, born in Armenia. He is my 48th ranked bantamweight in the UFC. Melzik is a very technical kickboxer with good speed, good in the clinch, and has some solid defense as well on the ground. Where Brito is a pressure-based marauder on the feet, pressure forwards, throwing everything into his kicks and punches with some solid kickboxing skill. He is also very dangerous as well in the jiu-jitsu game, where he can latch up a choke very quick in any scramble or situation on the ground. I think Brito will be too powerful on the feet and can sting up Melzik at points in this fight, possibly catching him in a sub after he wobbles or knocks him down in this fight. But I think Joe Anderson Brito can get a TKO finish in this fight in round 2 or round 3. Now, the featured prelim, we have 2 top 10 strawweights facing off. We have Amanda Lemos. She is 15-5-1, 8 KOs, 3 submission wins, and 4 decision wins as well. She is 38 years old, 5'4", with 65 inches of reach, coming by way of Para, Brazil. She is my 6th ranked women's strawweight in the UFC, and she will be facing Jillian Robertson. She is 16-8 with 3 KOs, 9 submission wins, and 4 decision wins as well. She is 30 years old, 5'5", with 63 inches of reach, born in Ontario, Canada. She is my 9th ranked strawweight in the UFC. Lemos is a powerful kickboxer with good speed, powerful hands, and sneaky jiu-jitsu on the ground. She struggles a lot whenever she gets put on her back and also has had cardio issues in the past. Where Robertson is an incredible jiu-jitsu and ground game specialist with improved boxing and kicking game as well. She is massive for the weight class, where she can also take you down, trip you, and just overall smother you on the ground, blanket you from on top, throwing some of the best ground and pound for women's fighters in the UFC right now. I think Jillian Robertson is just way too good on the ground, where she can easily take down Amanda Lemos and eventually work ground and pound, elbows, and eventually a submission win, I will say, in the second round, in the middle of the second round. Now, the main card opener at heavyweight, we have Kennedy Nzechukwu. He is 14-6, 10 KOs, 1 submission win, and 2 decision wins as well. He is 33 years old, 6'5", with 83 inches of reach, born in Nigeria. He is my 19th ranked heavyweight in the UFC, and he will be facing Marcus Bruchena. He is 5-2, 1 KO, and 4 submission wins. He is 35 years old, 6'2", with 77.5 inches of reach, born in Sao Paulo, Brazil. He is my 22nd ranked heavyweight in the UFC. Kennedy Nzechukwu is a powerful boxer with good hand speed, okay kicks, and has some issues in the past with his chin and getting up when being taken down. Where Bruchena is a multiple-time BJJ world champion, but struggles getting the takedowns and is just not the better striker in this fight at all. This will be whether or not Bruchena has improved his takedown game and is able to get Nzechukwu down, where he has been able to be taken down and out-controlled in some fights. But I think that he will just be too good on the feet, and Kennedy will be able to sting him up and be able to defend the takedowns early on and catch Bruchena coming in with one of his powerful boxing combinations. I think Kennedy Nzechukwu can knock him out in round 1. Now, coming up at 145 pounds, we have 2 entertaining prospects in Melquizael Costa. He is 24-7, 7 KOs, 8 submissions, and 9 decision wins. He is 29 years old, 5'10", with 71 inches of reach, coming from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He is my 24th ranked featherweight in the UFC, and he will be facing Morgan Charrier. He is 21-11-1, 13 KOs, 3 submissions, and 5 decision wins. He is 30 years old, 5'8", with 69 inches of reach, coming by way of France. He is my 30th ranked featherweight in the UFC. Charrier is a scrappy striker with good power, solid boxing, and powerful kicks as well. He is okay with the wrestling defense and can get up when taken down, but sometimes struggles with the more physical fighters. Costa is a technical kickboxer with solid front kicks, low kicks as well as a really good BJJ game where he can control fighters well on the ground, get ground and pounds, and has a versatile submission games as well, with solid takedowns in boxing as well. I think Costa can mix it up with the clinch and the takedowns, trip him against the cage, and eventually get Charrier down, out-controlling him for the first half of the fight and a large majority of the fight as well, while continuing to threaten with submissions and ground and pound throughout the fight. I think Costa can out-grapple him to a decision win. Now, coming up, the feature fight at 185 pounds, we have Cesar Almeida. He is 7-1, 5 KOs and 2 decision wins. He is 37 years old, 6'1", with 74 inches of reach, coming by way of Sao Paulo, Brazil. He is my 27th ranked middleweight in the UFC, and he will be facing the debuting by way of 36-second KO on the Dana White Contender Series, Cezary Oleksiejczuk. He is 16-3, 9 KOs, 2 submission, and 5 decision wins. He is 25 years old, 6'3", with 75.5 inches of reach, coming by way of Poland. Almeida is a former Glory Kickboxing World Champion who fought current light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira in kickboxing 3 times, winning the middle fight by decision. He is very powerful with his hands, with some solid low kicks and some solid body kicks as well. Struggles with the takedown defense and being able to get up after being taken down. Where Cezary Oleksiejczuk is the younger brother of Mikhail Oleksiejczuk in the same division of the UFC. He is a crafty kickboxer with fast hands and a wider variety of kicks on the feet, as well as some good wrestling and clinch game as well, where he can work you along the cage, trip you, and throw you, and work eventually ground and pound in some submissions as well. I think Oleksiejczuk will be the faster fighter on the feet and on the ground and with the footwork overall, and he can work his way in close distance, find a way to get into the clinch and sweep him or take him down early in this fight, tire him out and make him easier to hit on the feet and make it more competitive on the feet, Give me Oleksiejczuk to win this fight by decision. Now coming up at 145 pounds in the co-main event, we have Kevin Vallejos. He is 16-1, 11 KOs, 2 submission wins, and 3 decision wins as well. He is 24 years old, 5'7", with 68 inches of reach, coming by way of Argentina. He is my 29th ranked featherweight in the UFC, and he will be facing Giga Chikadze. He is 15-5, 9 KOs, 1 submission, and 5 decision wins. He is 37 years old, 6 foot tall, 74 inches of reach, born in the country of Georgia. He is my 15th ranked featherweight in the UFC. Chikadze is a very good kickboxer, former Glory kickboxer, great kicks, really good way of finding kicks to the body, and he has a signature Giga kick, which he ends up finding. It's a switch kick to the body that he has ended a lot of fights with. He is really good in the clinch, has some really solid flying knees, and some just overall athletic kickboxing game. Where Kevin Vallejos, in my mind, is a top 5 prospect in all of the UFC right now. He has some incredible boxing with some great power, great boxing combinations, and has some good wrestling and judo throws as well, where he can control fighters for most of the fight on the ground. If Vallejos finds a way to pressure him in this fight and minimizes the kicks coming his way by being too close with pressure and punches and keeping Chikadze moving throughout the fight, he will find openings on the feet to land powerful punches to the body and to the head with some boxing combinations, as well as maybe getting in close enough to the clinch to throw him and take him down. I think this is going to be a pretty close decision, but I think Vallejos will take him down and just be able to outpoint him in various moments of this fight with takedowns, boxing combinations. Chikadze is one of the most durable fighters in the UFC right now, especially at featherweight. And I think if there's any way that Vallejos would be able to finish him, it would be to the body. So I think that Vallejos will be able to get a semi-dominant decision win where Chikadze will have his moments in this fight. Now for the main event of the final card of the year, we have 2 fighters looking to get a title shot at 125 pounds and former title challenger Brandon Raw Dog Royval. He is 17-8, 4 KOs, 9 submission, and 4 decision wins. He is 33 years old, 5'9", with 68 inches of reach, coming by way of Colorado, USA. He is my 2nd ranked flyweight in the UFC, and he will be facing Manel Kape. He is 21-7, 13 KOs, 5 submission, and 3 decision wins. He is 32 years old, 5'5", with 68 inches of reach, born in Luanda, Angola. He is my 7th ranked flyweight in the UFC. Royval is a great pressure, lengthy boxer with good kicks, good knees, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt on the ground, where he can submit people with triangles from the bottom and also throw up guillotines and some nice anaconda and Darce chokes as well on the ground. He has really good scrambles and as well as some solid back takes as well whenever he is scrambling on the ground. Kape is a really quick striker with some good power and some really solid counter boxing as well. Some really good takedown defense and can get up easily for the most part whenever he gets taken down. This fight is going to be really, really close. And if I think that Royval fights this fight the way that he fought Joshua Van, Royval will be put in a lot of unnecessary danger and will just not be a smart way to fight this fight. Kape can bait him in and hit him with some really solid boxing combinations and some solid counter strikes if he ends up getting into a brawl. But if Royval plays it safe and hits him with kicks from range, stinging him with the jab and working into the clinch and eventually tripping him and controlling him throughout parts of this fight, I think that he can get a decision win. Royval has wins over some amazing fighters recently and has looked amazing in some of his fights recently. He had a fight with Tatsuro Taira where he looked amazing and almost finished Taira, and Taira looked amazing in his last fight. And as well as an amazing brawl and a close loss where he lost the current champion now, Joshua Van. I think Royval can just simply outpoint him on the feet. He keep him at range, kick him in the body, low kick him, work into the clinch every once in a while when he tries to go in and try to trip him and take him down. Give me Brandon Royval to win this fight by decision. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. Make sure you like, comment, and share it to one of your buddies. After this card, there will be 6 weeks with no UFC fights, so that'll be a perfect time for me to work on different videos to fill the void. I will be working on 2 to 3 videos to post during that time frame, and I hope you all have an amazing night.